Alright, so this is going to be another prediction video, as you can tell by the title and the very tournament looking bracket uh, on screen. Um, so I originally didn't want to make a prediction video for the upcoming RLCS Spring Major, which will be taking place in London, which is going to be very exciting. I can't wait to watch it. It's a 5-day event. Starts this Wednesday, goes to Sunday. I'm assuming Sunday is going to be like Championship Sunday. It always is with the events. And I don't know much about the EU teams. I don't watch the EU events and stuff like that, so I wouldn't like know entirely what the teams are about, how good they are, what their mechanics are. But I hear certain people saying certain EU teams are good, and they go. I see clips of it, like when I look at like highlights of RLCS events. I see like the teams and players doing flip resets and flicks and musties and double taps and all that stuff, and it's just I know some, not I don't know some. I know little about it, but anyway, part of me wanting to do this was I've seen a lot of other people predict this bracket, and I don't like some of them, some of their predictions. Some of them I'm obviously gonna agree with because some teams you just have to put over others, right? But there are a few things I don't agree with, so I just figured, hey, why not give it a shot? Shot in the dark it, um, and see how it goes. Who knows? I might get it right, and if not, I like to see what I got wrong and like to see what teams to look out for and stuff. So we're gonna start with G2 and Gaming Gladiators, and obviously, since I don't know who Gaming Gladiators are, G2's gonna 3-0 them. uh, there's no question about it, right? G2's too good of a team to lose to Gaming Gladiators, right? Whoever those guys are. Furia and Carmine. I know Furia because I've seen them face G2 before in the Winter Major, and they're pretty good. They took G2 to game 5, which is why I think they're going to win 3-1. V1 and Endpoint. Honestly, I see V1 taking it. I don't know, like, I hear people say Endpoint is a good team and all, but, like, I don't know. It might be NA bias. Fine. But I don't know. Yeah. Moist and Envy. Well, it's gonna be a good match at least, right? But as good as both teams are, I think Moist is taking it. Moist originally in Team Queso. And Team Queso faced G2 in the grand finals of the Winter Major, beat them for the bracket reset, and then G2 beat them in the final best of 7. So they're a good team. They can definitely go to distance, and I think they're going to take Team Envy. BDS and Secret, I think Secret's going to at least get a game off of them, but then BDS is going to go ham and wreck them. Because I have seen BDS face G2 in the Winter Major, and I know I think they have a different roster now, but in the Winter Major, G2 was dominating them, and BDS almost pulled off the reverse sweep. G2 did stave them off and win in the end, but BDS is definitely a good team. Space Station Pioneers, Space Station all the way. Pioneers might take a game off of them, but that's it. FaZe Power. FaZe might have a slow start, so we'll give Power one. There are times where FaZe has a slow start and gives up a game to a team it probably shouldn't. But Liquid and Falcons. Don't know anything about either of these teams. I'm just gonna throw a shot in the dark and say Liquid wins. Carmine and Gladiators. Give it to Carmine. See, this is where it gets tricky. I don't want Envy to go home this early because I think they are a promising team and they are a good team and they have a lot of mechanics and stuff. But Endpoint, I think I've heard, is like a great EU team. I've heard BDS and Moist are top 2 EU, but I think Endpoint was either close third or fourth, fifth at the least. But that's still not that bad. And Envy, I think, is like fifth team NA. I could probably go look at it, but I don't feel like it. Endpoint and Envy, because one of these teams, four of these teams are going. Four of these teams are getting eliminated right here, which is sad. I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say Endpoint wins. Sorry, excuse me. I kind of want Envy to win, but wanting is not the same thing as what's gonna happen. So I think Endpoint might win it. I feel like Endpoint might win it, but I really want Envy to. Which, I don't know, it might sound backwards. You could call me NA biased all you want, I don't care. But it's kind of like, this is probably what's going to happen, Endpoint winning. But a part of me wants Envy to win. Secret and Pioneers, let's just go 3-2 and then 3-1. Alright, so back up here. G2 and Furia. Like I said, these two faced each other off at the Winter Major, and I think nothing's going to change. I think G2 is still going to win. V1 and Moist. This is where some people might put Moist winning, but I think V1 will take them in 5. BDS will win against SSG, and FaZe Clan will beat Liquid. All close best of 5s. All going to game 5. Let's just start off with the easy ones. Moist beats Secret. Space Station beats Endpoint. Liquid beats Whoa, not 13. Liquid beats Carmine Core. And we'll say Falcons beats Furia. Alright. So, moving on here. G2 will defeat V1 in a close best of 7. Might be NA bias, but FaZe will beat BDS. V1 will beat SSG. I mean, SSG isn't a bad team. V1 has Beast Mode and Calm. So it's Beast Mode, Calm, and Torment versus Reddles, Arsenal, and Daniel. All 6 are incredibly talented at this game, at Rocket League. And it's really hard to call this one. This one right here is like the dark horse. This one you don't know is what's going to happen. Like, I'm fine with either team winning here. I just feel like V1 might pull it out. Nothing against SSG, though. SSG is a phenomenal team. Of course, though... Nah... Because if V1 is like top 3 NA, SSG I think is number 4. Falcons will beat BDS, sure. But I think here V1 will beat Falcons. G2 will beat FaZe. That's interesting though, because the last regional for NA, FaZe beat G2 in both of their matches, including, well, in the grand finals, G2 swept them in the bracket reset to get the bracket reset, and then lost to FaZe in the final best of 7. But I think G2 will get it together and beat FaZe. I know it sounds boring, but I think it's gonna be an NA grand final. I'll give FaZe the first. I'll give FaZe the bracket reset, but I think G2's taking the entire thing. And that just might be NA bias, it might be G2 bias, but I think that's what's gonna happen. Oh shoot. I don't know how to mean to hit that, but honestly, we could check this out. Because the seeding for everything is G2 is number 1 NA and BDS is number 1 EU. Yeah, Moist is number 2. SSG is number 4. Did not mean to do that. FaZe is number 2 NA though. And Envy is 5 for NA. Yeah. Endpoint is 5 for EU. Envy might be able to beat them. RLCS points is, so not bad per se. You got Oceania, South America, Middle East, Worlds. So if that goes through, if that bracket occurs, the World's wildcard teams, we get complexity in there, which I like complexity. Get Envy and Space Station wildcards, and these are the 8 teams that are qualified. So 1, 2, 3, 4 NA, 1 Middle East, and 3 EU. Interesting. And then you have all of these in wildcards. I don't necessarily know exactly what wildcards are, but it's whatever. And main event seeding, total points. This is world region spots, I guess. All right. So yeah, that's essentially my bracket right there. I think it might be bland to predict this, but I think G2 and FaZe will get grand finals again for a rematch from the last regional, or the final regional, I should say, before this event. I mean, I'm kind of, there are things here I'm iffy about. Like here, I'm fine with either team winning this. I like both teams. This team, BDS, might come through. Of course, I've heard Falcons, like, I've seen people predict brackets and show like Falcons sweep when they're in the lower bracket, but they ain't no sweeping here. They might beat Furia and Moist and BDS, but I think they get stopped by V1. I think V1 is too good of a team. And then up here, I think G2 just sails right on through. But there's some things here where I'd be fine if the other team won, but I'm going with my gut. I'm going with what I feel. I'm going with like what I can think of. I'm obviously liable for upsets in this bracket, but I think this is what it's going to be. And the final thing for the event would be this. G2, number 1. You get 3, the top 4 being NA and Falcons being in Middle East, getting 4th, Space Station 5th, 6th, and so on. Poor Envy in last. They could upset my bracket. Envy could go through. You never know. They could be really good on the first day. But yeah, that's my bracket. I don't know if I'm going to get any comments from this, but I'd hope to hear if anyone watches the RLCS what they think of it, what teams they think might win and go through, what teams would make it to the grand finals. That'd be really interesting to hear. I think no matter what though, if G2 does drop the lower bracket, I think they still make grand final, no matter what. Like, if G2 loses here to V1 and goes down, or they lose here to FaZe and go down, I think they still make it to the grand final no matter what. But yeah, be interesting to hear what everyone else thinks, if anyone else comments on this in the comments. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed my bracket, and I will catch you in the next video.